So you really want to give oil pastels a go, maybe even invest in some high quality art supplies, but you're not quite sure what you should get and what is optional? Then you're in luck. This video will cover just that. I'll show you the supplies I got. I will also mention how I decided which brand to go with. I will not talk about general properties of oil pastels, pros and cons, and whether you might like or dislike those, because I did so in another video already. If you haven't seen that, you might want to check that out and then return to this one. That video actually is the reason why I fell in love with this medium. So the very first thing I got are, of course, the oil pastels. Now, I knew I wouldn't be happy with a set of 24 because the oil pastels I reviewed in the other video are these ones, the old ones from my mom. They must be from the 80s. Luckily, I was able to test out a set of 25 or 20-ish because some of them had dried out before I ordered another set. You want to consider for yourself how many colors you are using in general and also how good you are at color mixing. If you are unsure and maybe have some colored pencils or another art supply in a variety of colors, you could try to make a sketch or a painting and just see how many you are actually using and if there is ever a point where you wish for different shades of a certain color group. So what I did was I got the 48 color set from Caran d'Ache, and where I felt like there was a color missing, I didn't have a reddish brown, a dark enough brown. There was no indigo in this set. I just got those separately. I purchased the set and on top of that I got these individual colors. After you have decided on the color range you are looking for, you want to consider the texture of the oil pastel sticks. There are some brands that are known for a firmer stick, such as Sakura or Pentel, and there are the ones that are known for their creamy consistency, such as Caran d'Ache and Sennelier. You might notice that Caran d'Ache and Sennelier are the highest price segments, and Sakura and Pentel are very affordable. So there is a connection between the consistency and the price. The pricier and higher quality, the pigments and the binder, the ingredients in the oil pastel, the creamier the consistency. They don't separate, and the separation of binder and pigment is what actually makes them hard over time. If you don't consider a smooth, buttery consistency a necessity, then you are in luck because you can easily go for the very affordable 60-piece Pentel set I talked about in the other video, and you are good to go. However, I am going for an impasto look and really want this creamy stacking property of the high quality oil pastels. So for me, I very quickly after some reviews realized that it would be either Caran d'Ache or Sennelier for me. If you are like me and are looking for these qualities in your oil pastels, if you are interested, I can make a comparison video between Caran d'Ache and Sennelier. It would just be a bit much for this video because we want to get going with our other supplies. If you are interested at all, let me know in the comments and I can arrange that for you. Now, the other supplies you might need to really get started with oil pastels are the following. If you don't want to blend with your hands or with cotton swabs, you can also blend with paper stumps. I got this set of 6 in different sizes. I can highly recommend blending with paper stumps because you have a lot of control with this otherwise hard to control medium. I got these 2 very cheap. These are 2 holders for your oil pastel sticks. You can use them either if you want to cover larger surfaces and need to have control over the stick, or you can use them to elongate a stump that is very short from using it so much. You also want to get a fixative. I got this universal fixative. I heard very good things about the fixative from Sennelier. It isn't that much a price difference, at least not in the art supply store I ordered, but it was sold out, so I got this one instead. I am actually trying it out later on my swatches and will then tell you how I liked it. One more thing I got I do not own oil pastel pencils, which is why I got one in white as well as black. If you want to get some details in there that are finer than your sticks, you want to use oil pastel pencils. Now let's talk about one of the most important things for oil pastels, which is the paper. As I said already in my other video, the paper has to be acid-free because otherwise there can be reactions between the paper and your oil pastels. Binders can separate, gray stuff is on your paint, it's not very nice. So look for acid-free paper. I was very surprised by how thin this pastel paper is because I come from watercoloring, and watercolor paper, usually the good one, has 200 to 300 grams per square meter. So I was like, what is this? A paper towel. But it worked out very well with swatches. You can paint on so many surfaces with oil pastels. The only problem is they don't dry. So really, you're not bound to any pastel paper at all. The paper stumps are quite cheap. The chalk holders were quite cheap. The fixative was, I believe, €7. And the paper, you don't have to go crazy with the paper. Don't go for Strathmore, pastel, somewhat. Paper can change the outcome of your oil pastel painting a lot. I recommend you experiment maybe with paper you already have, and maybe go for one paper pad especially for pastels. And now I was swatching the colors on this A3 Hahnemühle pastel paper. After I finished swatching, I used this universal fixative you just saw. I just did what it said on the back. It said only spray it once, let it dry, and then it should be okay to touch. And now I have these beautiful swatches, and they truly are okay to touch. There's no pigment coming off. Now I wouldn't recommend really scrubbing them off, but definitely my recommendation is get a fixative and fixate all your oil pastel drawings. Just one spray coat and it works out great. Paper stumps are quite affordable, but you can blend it with anything you want to, so I would say paper stumps are optional. The paper itself is also optional. As I mentioned, don't go overboard. Try out whatever paper you have at home and see how it behaves on there. The chalk holders, definitely optional. That is not a must-have. I love talking about art supplies so much. So if you have any questions at all about the things I mentioned or want some info, just leave me a comment below. I love to hear from you. Special thanks to my subscribers and anyone who leaves these very kind and nice comments under my videos. Thank you. Now the next video is either going to be an oil pastel portrait, which I'm currently working on, or it is going to be this other video that is purely for entertainment purposes, your entertainment and mine, because I'm having lots of fun filming it. It is what if art supply brands had a fashion line. I've already done 2 TikToks. I'm having loads of fun. If the app doesn't crash, either that or an oil pastel portrait. And hope to see you then. Bye.